Although pouring from the side may seem quicker and offer more ice to fill the glass, the risk of spillage is just too high. However, if you pour from the spout, it is easy to control the flow and waste no water. Plus, I've always found ice to be a little redundant. Light. Light is the one thing that we all have in common. We map out our entire lives according to light. That's why we work during the day and why we rest at night. Our eyes convert light into electrical impulses in our neurons. And in a home, light is what brings us comfort. At night, we take shelter from the darkness outside. It is very important that this darkness remains outside. That when someone walks into their home, they can create security with a single flip of a light switch, and that they must not have to leave this security to get to the next switch. The switches must lead to one another in a constant web of light and safety. For example, the first switch must be within 5 feet of the front door, and the next switch must be on the next closest wall. The illumination of that light is eventually going to run out, so we're going to have to move to the next light, and after that, another. If we are doing our job properly, then the occupant will not even consider any of this. They will be constantly lit, and they will be constantly comforted. They will not even consider this map. Let me show you what I mean.
Sir? The electricians don't get here till Tuesday.
That's comforting. All right, let's talk about windows and the unpredictability of the movement of sunlight throughout a room.
Jim.
William.
Yeah, I know. Bill. That was quite a speech in there. He really kicked the machine in gear.
You think so?
Well, it was certainly something. You actually gonna eat that shit? It's your first time in my town. Chance for me to show you what things work like around here. You don't get a choice in the matter. Come on. Tommy, no running in the house. Bill, this is my wife, Denise.
It's very nice to meet you. Welcome to our little slice of heaven. Jim built this room after we were married. He said he wanted to watch every sunset and rise with me. It's amazing how quickly that gets mundane. Oh, those. Mattel created the Tommy doll as a little brother for Ken, with Barbie having Kelly. They wanted to show that it's appropriate for a male to have a nurturing side. I found the coincidence too big to pass up. It's become a themed event now. I can't pass a toy store without going in to check.
Don't you think he's a little old for dolls?
How do you like your steak?
Done well.
Are you sure? It's just that Fred, he's my butcher, he suggested medium raw. I ain't never gone back. Tell you what, you give it a try. I can always put it back on. How do you like it here? It's just your line of work visiting so many places. How do we compare? Never been outside the city borders myself. That must seem strange to a man like you, but it's the truth. My folks could never afford a vacation, and now that I can, Just comfortable. You know what I mean. Good steak only needs one flip. That's how you seal in the juices.
So how's the factory? I heard you boys were working on lights. I never gave it much thought. To me, that's natural. But you boys are so particular about your lighting. You know, when Jim moved in here, he renovated the whole house. Good evening, Bill.
What are you doing here?
Fixed your problem. Lights work. Map works now.
My map has always worked.
I just mean now that it's got actual
The
electricity.
problem has never been with my map. You can go through this entire house without setting foot in the darkness.
I don't want to talk about that. That doesn't matter.
That is if your lights had worked and if your crew hadn't done such an inadequate job.
I can't stay here any longer. I've lived here my whole life. My mother died here. That kid hates me.
You've lived your entire life in such comfort. You've lived surrounded by people and you've lived surrounded by this light.
All that kid wants is his real father. I can't be left behind. I won't be left behind.
I can give you the map and I can give you the comfort, but I cannot give you everything.
I just want to be on the road. I want to have conversations with people I'll never meet again.
It's not up to me to change these light bulbs. It's up to somebody else. Their failure is beyond me, Jim.
Can I go with you?
So how about a story? You know what? I'm just going to start one and you can tell me if you like it or not. Once upon a time, there was a kingdom ruled by a drunken king. He had made sure his kingdom was his by stealing all the wealth of the land for himself. He had even stolen his son, the prince's, fine leather treasure chest. But that wasn't enough. The king grew mad, dreaming of treasures just off of the horizon. When this king watched the sun set, he was full of a deep resentment. All that gold, all those jewels, all just out of reach. So he hatched himself a plan. But he was far too paranoid to leave all his wealth unwatched. So he set sail with all of it. His boat was so packed full that there was only room for one man, the king himself. And off he went in search of new frontiers full of unknown treasures. Continuing westward, he lay pillage to any land he come across, leaving behind broken people. But things were learned, and the king's son, once a prince, rose to return prosperity. Run along to your mom. Wait.
Shouldn't it sink? The king's boat. It should sink.
Once I had wings, once I could fly, 'cause I've had the song